Hello, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome back to another episode 112. Not the musical group, but just the episode title. I'm back. I'm your host, Jason. I'm joined by a full team. I've got AF, I've got Siad, and I've got Wasim, the Carabao Cup winner. So I'll start with Wasim. How's it going, my friend? Good to have you back. How's things been?
Thank you. Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I'm still getting over the Carabao Cup win. Yes, it's only the Carabao Cup, but it's been amazing. Just riding that wave for as long as possible.
Lovely stuff, man. Yeah, look, much like that trophy, it seems like it's been a while since you've been on the show. So good to have you here. AF, how's it going, my friend?
I'm okay, man. I'm just going through the motions here, the same way United went through the motion over the weekend. You have to align with your team sometimes.
No, fair play. There's still a big game tomorrow night, if I'm not mistaken, right, Leon? And especially after Matic threw that little shot there, I think it's setting up for a good one. And last but not least, my fellow gunner, Ziad. How's it going, my bro? Did you sleep at all? Have you come
I
down?
was buzzing now. I was buzzing.
Buzzing, huh?
Yeah, buzzing. But there's another leg to come, so I had to quickly come back down to earth. But it took a while. It took a while for sure.
Nah, 100%. Look, it's great game, lovely, all of that. But we still need to go into the Dragons Den next week. So let's just stay humble, hey.
Print it on a t-shirt, yeah.
Busy episode today. We've obviously got Wasim, the lone Newcastle fan from Cape Town, in the studio. So we'll be talking a bit about the Newcastle Man United game that's coming up. We're going to chat a bit about what's happened before. So we're going to talk about the Manchester derby. We're going to talk a bit of some of those refereeing issues. And then obviously we have to touch. If I'm hosting, we have to talk about Arsenal. So we'll chat a bit. We'll start with last night's game because the vibes are still high. Everybody knows how I felt. Wasim, did you catch the game? Were you able to get some of the excitement? Did it rub off? Give us your thoughts.
So yeah, I watched the whole game and it was a great game. First half was end to end and both teams sort of had chances, but second half, I don't think anyone thought that was going to happen. And when the first one went in, I was still typing and tweeting about what a free kick and getting so many responses. And then the second one went in, and then I was like, okay, trying to keep up to date because everyone was just amazed at both free kicks. It was out of this world, and I've never seen it before. I think I've watched football almost 30 years, and I've never seen something like that happen where one free kick taker scores two free kicks, and it's like both top draw free kicks. It's not any type of free kick, deflected and whatever else you can get these days, but it was amazing free kick. And then it was as if Real Madrid were still stunned of that. Then Merino, the ex-Newcastle player, if I may add that, scores and he puts it in with pristine precision because the way he gets it around the ball, the way he hits it first time, it was amazing. So, yeah, I think no one saw that coming. And I think credit to Arsenal because they were confident going into the game, but I suppose it was quietly confident within the squad. And Arteta was saying, yeah, he needs the fans on side. But I was just amazed and stunned. So credit to Arsenal. The job's not done, but I feel that you've got it within you to finish it off. So amazing, yeah.
So we have a comment here in the chat real quick from a legend known as MY Sayed. And he says, to win a great team, you have to score great goals. Ziad, a comment from you, from the legend himself.
Can Ziad, yes.
Sorry, man. It cut out there for a second. I just said legend, and I had flashbacks of those free kicks last night. Sorry, man.
Hey, pull it up there again. Yeah. To win a great team, you have to score great goals.
You need to score great goals indeed. With Arsenal that played this season, I'll take any goal, even if it's an own goal. Doesn't really matter to me. But I wanted to just change attack quickly. I think another thing there with Wasim being on is that the win last night also helped basically guarantee that the English Premier League will have 5 teams in the Champions League. So that opens another slot for a team, and Newcastle is currently in that 5th spot if I'm not mistaken. So things are looking up there for Newcastle also to enter the Champions League next season.
Yeah, let's hope so. Fingers crossed. Thank you, Arsenal. We owe you big time. I mean, we've had your number this season, and we say thank you to you even after all we've done to you this season. But thanks.
I mean, you also helped us keep one of the 4 trophies Liverpool were going for away from them. So we keep helping each other, right? Speaking of trophies, if you want to jump in here, how's that bottom? Finishing 11th trophy looking.
The Europa League is going well, man.
Of the bottom half.
The Europa League tomorrow night. I mean, it's a must win for us. So a trophy is on the line there.
But tell us about your Matic versus Onana, man. That battle is some other good.
No. I'm not gonna entertain that. I'm not gonna entertain that. Like Onana is just like that's everything he's saying is so disrespectful. I'm not gonna entertain any of his comments. Thank you very much.
But look here, I can see this playing out. I can see Onana actually playing in the midfield, playing against Matic, just to actually show him. Yeah, and then it's gonna be a battle of who can put in the best tackle, who can get the most completed passes, and if there's anybody to do it, it would be Andre Onana, and that's that's fair. I mean, honestly, man, the guys. Plus, besides the fact of having a great connection, right? This one is jumping into my script here. He is already talking about the 5th spot. That was only late in the episode. You've not given all the Easter eggs away.
But Easter is most next week.
Exactly. So you must wait. Don't jump the gun the weekend before.
My bro, have you been to the shops recently? That man got the Easter eggs out already at the end of Feb. You want me to wait till next week?
January was wild.
Yeah. No. Okay. Look,
selling hot cross buns back then.
This isn't a lifestyle.
My equilibrium is out, my bro. I never saw my team beat. I never saw my team win like that in a long time, my bro. So
you on a sugar rush. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. No, definitely agree with everything that's been said. It is only halfway in the tie. I used to pray for times like this. I used to watch my team sickle against like a Dinamo Zagreb and playing Europa League, Lacazette, Slavia Prague, through on goal, hits the crossbar. I'm like, so this is the sort of ties that I've been wanting. And for a team to show up like that last night, I think it was very complete. Madrid have a lot of good players, but I don't think there's a system happening there. Also, before we move anything further, it was a different kind of feeling to see somebody get a second yellow for kicking the ball away. I don't know about you, Ziad, but as soon as it happened, I stood up and I started shouting. I was like, yes, it's finally going to happen. And it's like, yeah, it only took the 90th minute.
I was actually chatting to a friend of mine and he was upset that Bellingham wasn't booked earlier on and a couple of other guys were not getting booked. And I was like, bro, just relax, man. I'd rather beat the team full strength than one bookings and stuff. And then obviously you got the Kamavinga at the end.
Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I bring all the best players back, man. I don't want to just come then afterwards I must hear so-and-so was injured, so-and-so didn't play. I don't have time for that, man. But that Kamavinga red card, I was just like so anticlimax. It was like, whatever. Even Ancelotti was upset.
Yeah, but I think
it was so
Kamavinga was upset with Ancelotti's tactics. But besides
it was weird. Why is he playing 4-4-2, but then he picks the same players he picks when they play 4-3-3? Yeah, it made no sense. And I actually think with our defense, obviously we had Kivio, which I would have thought you're going to put Mbappe on Kivio and just attack him. They were short in midfield, and that's where the game was ultimately and lost. Because we were in the midfield, we just had the legs. But he had one of his better games when, he has a high ceiling, man. When he has a really good game, it's really good. Yeah. But when he does make those stupid mistakes, then it tends to unravel quite quickly. And obviously the wingers, it was just our game plan. They didn't try and disrupt it. And I don't think they even attacked the weakness which we had, which was that central defense. They played a couple of balls through and Raya obviously stood up. But yeah, I mean, it just worked out quite well.
Wasim, I'm just gonna jump. I'd noticed something last night, right? So obviously with Jude starting on the left, it was definitely to sort of assist Alaba in the Saka, right? So most of Jude's work was trying to double up and basically provide quite a bit of cover. Going into the second leg, do we see them change that system? They obviously have to, but what does that mean? Does it play into Arsenal's hands to have Real Madrid attack them so that we can then just prepare, sit, and then go forward?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely it does, because if you look at Arsenal, especially when they counter-attacking, they've got a lot of pace. Martinelli, Saka. So I think it plays into your hands, definitely. But Madrid also have, what they've got to do is they got to go for it. You know, you can't say, okay, let's keep it tight and let's get maybe one goal in the first half and then take it to the 80th minute and then attack, the last 10 minutes go raucous. You have to, attack from the get-go. And so that's going to play into Arsenal's hand. And if Arsenal play it smart, defend, get in a lot of numbers behind the ball. But when you have a chance to attack, get a few guys at them, because not only does it, make them vulnerable, you also then put it into their minds that, listen, we can't attack with 6 or 7 guys going forward because they're going to hit us on the break. And then by doing that, you're obviously making them not attack with as many numbers, and then it might make you defending easier. So I think it's going to be a real tactical game, but I think Arteta is suitable. He can handle that. And Ancelotti has been struggling with the system for a while because he's got so many options. Diaz has been playing so well. Brahim Diaz has been playing so well for Madrid when he gets a chance, but he doesn't get a look in enough. So I think like Ancelotti is just trying to stick with the best players that he can, given the options, and then trying to bring the others on. But I think at the end of the day, he's not worked it out as what the best system is to get the best out of his whole squad.
No, actually, just to jump in, I think he does know the best system, but I think he's being forced with the squad that he's been given. He doesn't have the players to play the way he wants to play. Because if you look at how well they've played in the past, and then they signed Mbappe, and suddenly now it's who's going to play where, and he's going to play through the middle. Must Vinny move? Does Rodrigo make the 11? And you need to play him. So they're often sacrificing in midfield, because Bellingham also, his best position is probably further forward than where they often ask him to play, because Modric doesn't have the legs to cover that ground. So it is like kind of that, that old saying, the square pegs in the round holes, or whatever the case is. And they also haven't been too fortunate with injuries. So I wouldn't blame Ancelotti too much, but it's how it goes with these big teams, man. They're like, we have to buy Mbappe no matter what, even though it might not have been the best for the team. And if you look at how well PSG has done since those big guys have left, they've been able to build a team and pick players in the right position, and suddenly you see them thriving. So it's not to say Mbappe is bad, it's just that they might have strengthened the area of the field they didn't need to, and sacrifice the area of the field which they actually needed to strengthen.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I suppose to an extent, they still have one of the best squads. I mean, we are talking about the holders of the Champions League. So I'm not sure if you can say the square pegs in the round holes thing, because they've got some of the best players in the world, and this is something that they also claim to have. But yeah, I think it's that aging squad, and they've lost a few. So Kroos obviously retires. Modric, as good as Modric is, I don't think he can command the midfield as much as he previously did. And that showed.
He still has the range of passing, but he can't do the other stuff you need to do in midfield.
100%. So if you're getting a team that's got runners, like, okay, yesterday Odegaard was pressing pretty high, Declan is box to box, and then you just have some strategic dropping in from Merino, then it's fine. But I think also a big area that they lost out was probably that right back spot, because Fede Valverde was probably one of the better midfielders, has now had to go slot in there. And yeah, I'm not sure whether he's still going to have to do it next year. I mean, Trent is coming, but how much defending is he really going to do? That's obviously a question for next year. But yeah, I think let's just to wrap it up, I'm going to say that I'm happy. It's only halfway through. We have to prepare for any sort of black magic that's going to happen next week. And yeah, it's not going to get any easier, because I think getting to the semis, we either get PSG, Villa. So yeah, it's good as an Arsenal fan to be here. It's It's good to be playing against these guys, and also, yeah, man, we actually can compete there. But anyway, we've got a Newcastle fan here, so let's chat about Newcastle. Obviously, recent weeks have been good; they've been kind to you. You've now, I'd say, probably solidified Leicester's relegation Monday night. You now go into a game against Man United where you probably strengthen your hold on either fourth or fifth spot. What are your thoughts going into the game, Wasim? And yeah, is it the run of the mill game? It is at St. James. Are you expecting a lively crowd?
Yeah, I think when Newcastle and Man United, there's some sort of rivalry that has been going on since the 90s. Maybe not so much from Man United side. They had bigger fish to fry. They won all the trophies that there was to win. But from our side, I think Newcastle against United, I think there's always a bit of a edge in that fixture for us. So wherever we are on the table, whether we were in the Mike Ashley era and we were in the bottom half of the table, when Man United came around, it was always a big fixture. And I think it will still be the same now, even though we're perhaps fighting for top 6 and they in the bottom half of the table. But I think it's a big game for us. And it's also big in the sense that we've got the table looking so close in terms of from 3rd down till about 9th or 10th, there's not a big gap. And we've got a game in hand as well coming up next week, 3 days after the United game. So for me, it's very, very important that we try and play well and get the crowd on side, because it's a big fixture. And if we can get a win, we can then solidify ourselves within that top 5. And even if we do win, we then go 1 point behind Nottingham Forest, who are 3rd. And that just creates a bit of a gap between us and Man City, who are in 6th place. So there's a lot to gain from this fixture. And it's normally, like I say, fireworks when Man United come to town. So I'm hoping that it is that case and the guys are up for it, because if we are, then it will be a good game from our side. But if we're expecting to just, be a run-over-the-mill game and walk in the park and Man United are not doing well and whatever, then we'll struggle, because Man United are improving from my point of view.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a double game week for you guys as well, isn't it? So, I mean, you win both of those, you're going to 59 points, and you guys are sitting pretty that way. So, yeah, like you said, I think I'm looking at it now, there's 10 points separating 3rd from 9th. That's all the way down to Brighton at 9th. So there's a lot to play for with all of those teams in the middle of the table. But yeah, I'm just going to echo what you said right now. Like when the Newcastle Man United fixture over the last 10 years or so, it's like United have like sort of tethered off a bit, whereas Newcastle has kind of escalated in a way, and it's made the rivalry much better than what it ever was. There's bigger names on the pitch for Newcastle, so the spectacle becomes better as well. It becomes a more entertaining fixture and stuff like that. But yeah, like I hope that from a United point of view, they actually bring something to the table. Over the weekend against in the Manchester derby, it was, I think Ziad said it best last week. If you're not a United supporter, don't waste your time watching it, because it's going to be 0-0. And the guy was spot on. And yeah, like if United come with that attitude against Newcastle this weekend, then I think that there's going to be a thrashing on the platter for us.
I don't know. I think Man United have psyched themselves up for these bigger games rather. And I thought the first 15 to 20 minutes, there was a lot of good that was happening with United. And okay, maybe they were unlucky with the one, I think Ruben Diaz's challenge, which I think was possibly closer to there was more in it than what was given. So yeah, I think there was a lot of chances. It's just you guys need like a Mikel Merino, man. Somebody just to finish it off there. There's so many chances being created there, but it's just a bunch of
100% guarantee if a guy like Mikel Merino comes to the cesspit that is Man United right now, it would be a completely different story.
Yeah. No, but so yeah, it's the thing about St. James and what they've done recently, which has been, maybe it's something that's happened before. I'm not going to claim to know what the sort of vibes are, but now that I've taken a more keen interest in Newcastle recently, the home fixtures become a lot more important, right? The vibes are higher, the crowd gets more lively, and things of that nature. Now, it's not always the case. I mean, there's teams that have come there that have sort of turned up. But yeah, I think the game over the weekend probably sets the tone for Man United's running. And the only unfortunate thing is that you still have a big clash before that in Lyon, which could, I think it should be a push to kind of get further in the Europa. Then, I mean, League, you hopefully won't get relegated. I'm almost certain not, because what you've got your 30 or 40 points already, right? So you should be fine. But yeah, I think this Lyon game probably is the big game.
Yeah.
Ziad, give me a key battle for this game now. I think is it going to be Bruno versus Bruno? Is that where the magic's coming?
No, I don't think so. I think it's again that midfield. I think very similar to what you were talking about earlier. Newcastle's midfield, they have legs, and they're quite good winning the ball back. They're good in pressing. They're good in passing. Once they win the ball, they get the ball out wide to the players they want to be running with it, the Gordons, and getting the ball up towards Isak, for example. And United's midfield's absolutely nowhere. That's probably besides obviously the problem with putting the ball in the net. I think their midfield is not good at all. And I think that's where they might struggle. The thing that United have done well, I suppose, is they kind of starting to buy into the structure that Ruben Amorim wants. So you're seeing guys kind of stick to their positions a bit more. And going into a game away as the underdog, all they're going to do is put someone like Garnacho up on the halfway line, put the other 9 guys behind the ball, try to win it back and kick the ball out to him, which might work out for them, especially if Newcastle have a lot of the ball early on. So yeah, I think they'll be able to hold that structure for a while, but because they still have some not so good players, when they do make errors, we've seen Newcastle be really clinical this season, especially if you have Isak up front, and if he gets half a chance, he's going to take it with the form that he's in. So yeah, man, that midfield, and I don't think United's going to come away with anything more than a draw if they're able to hold out.
No, that's fair. Wasim, obviously Ziad just alluded to Isak, and I think he's probably been top 3 of your best players this season. Very clinical, very tricky to pin down, right? He's moving around, he's causing a lot of problems. Do you sense that he's probably relishing the chance to play against a very, I'd say, a bit of a dysfunctional Man United backline?
Yeah, if you watch the game against Leicester, we were playing with such ease in that first half. It really, really looked like a training session, and no disrespect to them, but Leicester was so bad. I've not seen a team play so badly before. But in the end, we won 3-0. That was the final score. Yeah. But if you watch it first half, you thought it was going to be a 6-7-0 type of game. But we sort of just sat back in the second half, said, okay, we'll take the 3-0 and we'll try and keep the clean sheet and we'll go on to our next game. But when Isak came off, he was taken off about 70 minutes in. You could see on his face, like, damn, man, I missed a chance to score goals here in this game because, I want to chase that golden boot and whatever else. So he looked sort of unhappy, not at the manager or anything, but just, I missed the chance to score. So I feel that this game is a big game for him where he'll think to himself, okay, listen, I missed out in the last game. I've got 2 home games coming up. I need to get those goals that I missed out on. So I think he's going to be very hungry. And if we can get on top or get an early goal, then I think we'll see the best of him. Because I think once we get momentum and the home crowd on side, then we are very dangerous. I think it's what Man United need to try and do is keep the crowd quiet, let the game sort of meander through, go maybe get to halftime 0-0, and then second half, if the crowd starts getting frustrated, players get frustrated, then hit us on the break and things like that. So we've seen teams like Bournemouth, Fulham, and Brighton win at St James Park. So not impossible for teams to come and win at St James's Park, but I think it's just how the game develops. And if we get the momentum on our side, then I know Isak will probably score a few. But if not, then who knows? I think United are much stronger defensively now than they were maybe earlier in the season. I think they played Forest and they played Man City, two teams who are capable of scoring goals. But I don't think in either game United look like they're going to concede too many. So I think they're on the right track, and they need to stick to that. And who knows?
Yeah, I'm just going to bring up this comment that Mubin says, and like he said, Garnacho has been lousy lately, and I'm just going to like echo that a lot, because his decision making in the final third contributes a lot to what United's struggles are at the moment. The guy, like, there would be a time when he needs to shoot, but then he passes, or then he'll do vice versa. And I mean, those are like the small margins that make a difference at the moment. There was a time over the weekend against Manchester City where you could have slid Hoyland through, and the pass was on. There was nobody blocking that way, but then he chose to go for this worldie and probably went up to Rosie or something like that. But if he plays that ball through, yes, maybe Hoyland doesn't convert it, he doesn't capitalize, but it gives an extra XG, it gives an extra opportunity for United. And I read a stat last week as well that I think Amorim is in the top 5 in the Premier League for XG since the turn of the year. So that's like in the past like 3.5 months or so. He's in the top 5 coaches for the team's XG. So they are creating chances. It's just that final third is abysmal at the moment.
So to then bring, I mean, obviously Garnacho has been a bit lousy, but also to bring back Mubin's comment about, conceding early first and then always on the back foot. Do you think that you guys are able to stay in the high press in the first 5 to 10 minutes? Because I think Newcastle, their biggest trait this season has also been their physicality, and guys like Joelinton, really setting the tone for the game. Tonali really getting stuck in. If you're not going to make use of those chances, is it just sort of a matter of, okay, we're just going to wait, and then once the floodgates open, it's just going to open?
Yeah, so, I mean, going to St. James's Park is never an easy thing to do. You have like a stadium full of Geordies just like shouting and screaming and stuff like that. And I think Sir Alex said once upon a time that like that was the toughest stadium that he's traveled to as a manager. Like he actually rated it like worse to travel to than Anfield. And I mean, if you don't have the mentality for that, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago on an episode, and a lot of the players, they don't have the mentality to be a Manchester United player. So if the going gets tough with him, they can fold very easily. And I think the player that has the highest BMT in that back line is somebody like Matthijs de Ligt. And he was injured last weekend for the derby. It's not looking good for this weekend either. We have somebody like Harry Maguire that came in, and then he got substituted after the hour mark over the weekend. So I don't know if that's the fact that like Ruben wants to save him now for the Europa League, or like I don't know what's the thinking. But I mean, players, they need high BMT to go to these stadiums. Chances are majority of them don't have it. So I am nervous. I am nervous that we can concede like a couple in like the opening 20 minutes, but cautiously optimistic that we can do something before conceding.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, Ziad, I'm going to put you in the spotlight. Seeing as you got the 0-0 prediction correct, give us a score prediction now for this game: Newcastle vs United at St. James.
2-0 Newcastle.
Ooh. Okay, I'm not going to put you further into the spotlight and ask for goal scorer, but if you have FPL, then it's probably Isak or maybe Jacob Murphy. AF, give me yours, my friend.
I'm going to go 1-0 Newcastle. I think United will sustain a bit, but it won't hold up. Yeah.
Okay, fair play. I'm going to go with, I think it's probably going to be like a 3-1 Newcastle. It might be a bit of a statement win. Wasim, talk to me.
Yeah, look, we've had a good run of late where we've been winning a lot. So won the Carabao Cup, and then we beat West Ham just before that. We beat Leicester, and we won the game just before Leicester as well. So we're on a good run, but I'm also a bit cautious and thinking that overconfidence could creep in. But I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle. But I think it's going to be a close game, or closer than we think. And given that we've got another game 3 days later, he might take off a player or two early just to keep their legs for the following game. And I think if United are still in the game by that point, you never know. So, but I'm going 2-1 Newcastle, and I'm hoping that we carry our momentum.
Okay, that's fair, man. Yeah, I think Wasim might need to just dub. So if you see him vanish from the screen, it's not like a black magic. That's only next week when we're at Santiago Bernabeu. So it's been a pleasure having you here with him. Hopefully we can get you back again sometime soon. We have those predictions, obviously. I see in the chat we've got a Isak hat-trick. That's definitely somebody who wants to captain Isak in FPL.
Give us your predictions in the chat, guys. Like, what do you think the score is going to be for this game?
And then Riaz Parker, Maguire to score as a second striker. I don't know for which team this is. Riaz, you can maybe just confirm that. And then I've got the typical Man United Liverpool beef, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is Liverpool playing tonight? I don't know, man. What is tonight? That's the biggest problem for me. Never mind whether Liverpool playing or not. Is the night school?
How long do you know Mubin? I mean, you should be caught up on the lingo by now.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. We got 2-1 United.
Yeah, this is Riaz's reverse psych, bro. Like,
man, I think Riaz thinks that the league works on 2 legs. So he's adding scores on other games and.
Yeah. Nah, this one I think it's like
But he didn't say which United. I think he did it on purpose.
Oh yeah.
It could be Newcastle United
typical.
also.
Typical. Okay. We got Mubin staying true to his team. Like that. You must never never go against your team. And then Shuaib, we got 3-1 Newcastle. And then Riaz says he's got Ruben as his assistant manager. So he has to be leaning to a Man United. But look, if it comes off, right, that win bonus because of United's league position is going to be easy. That man's going to get like 30 points from the one game. Mohamed Yassin saying 2-1 Newcastle. I'm not sure if he thinks Newcastle is away. We had mentioned that to James. So thanks to that. And then Ramir saying 1-0 to Man United. And it's, again, I think Man United is probably at home there. It's not out of the realm. I think Man United have shown quite a bit of defensive stability in these last games. I mean, I think the Nottingham Forest game was a shock to the system because you conceded so very early. But even once City started getting into the game, you were still pretty resolute. I don't think there were many chances that really made you feel like, they could actually score.
Yeah, so the thing is, like, we created 24 chances on that day against Forest. So, like, what's the point of creating that many chances if your strikers can't convert any of it? Like, I mean,
this one is just sounding like Asapa years ago, Jason.
Honestly,
about how much
and I've said this.
We have the ball all day, we don't score. This man is living through because they made so much khat of us during that time. Now they must live through
when
it.
did I do that? I
never said you, man. It's a generalization, man.
He has to pay now.
And this man is like Garnacho's 20 years old. Hoyland is 22. They both played 30 games in the Premier League so far. What do you expect from that, Owens? Who are they learning from? Who's Garnacho's role model? Bruno, who kicks half the Mensa on his own team, throws a captain's armband everywhere. He does score goals and stuff, but I mean, he's not going to help other players around him develop. So it can't be too harsh on these guys also. Kid is 20. He should be easing himself in, learning from players, popping off the bench, having impact because he has the ability. You saw Anthony Elanga, what he's doing at Forest this season. It could be exactly the same with Garnacho when you offload him to some other team and he suddenly thrives. And it's because of the environment at United. That has to change before, anything else. So you can't be too harsh on the players, the young ones especially. But if you want to single out players, was supposed to be, but all the guys doing catching a paycheck, you can pay move.
Sorry, Ziad, I think we lost you there.
Nah, this one, Mr. Robotic, what kind of you? Inspector Gadget vibes,
we didn't get what you said now.
Yeah, it's definitely a lack of leadership for sure. Ziad, do you want to repeat that?
Nah, carry on.
Nah, man, don't be senti now. But yeah, look, it's if we are looking for the experienced guys, I think half of them are injured all the time, right? So you're playing kids all the time and you're expecting them to perform, and it will work now and again. But the sort of longevity and consistency is not going to be there. And it's again, I think we had spoken about it at the start of the season and midway through the season, and it's the same thing. You have to accept that some days you'll do exceptionally well, right? City away, Liverpool away, because those are the games that you generally don't need to motivate yourself for. But it's when you need to really grab the game by the scruff of the neck. You asking a guy who's Argentinian, but he's so in love with Ronaldo. So that's already you must think that, but that's confused. You can't rely on a guy like that. He's not going to lead your team to anything except confusion. So
plus, when the man signed for United, he was getting 3 meals a day, and I only get 2. So it's like,
and one of them is soup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The one guys, they must all go on intermittent fasting so they can save another meal.
Since they've cut down meals now, I've seen Luke Shaw more present. So maybe there's something in that.
Maybe
that
it's
guy
working.
came back immediately.
Yeah. But I think it's actually no, because I think all of the matchday squad get something afterwards. So he's pushing hard to get some meal after. But yeah, look, it's setting up again to be one of those good games. But it's something that I think United need to sort of develop some sort of momentum now going forward. Because I think I was reading a stat over the weekend that Man United hadn't won 2 games consecutively in the Premier League this season, which is scary.
Since Amorim took over, I think they did it. They did it when Ten Hag was still in charge.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we must bring Erik Ten Hag back. So yeah, there's no form, there's no sort of consistency going, and if those spots are increasing, right? So if Champions League is then going to be 5th, that means that Europa pushes down a bit. It means Conference League, and if you're feeling a bit nervous about possibly Lyon and then possibly who you'd have next, and you don't think you're going to win Europa, then you have to somehow secure top 10 so that if something happens, you are there. So this game, whilst it might be like you could say maybe okay to possibly go there and think Newcastle can win it, but to be a good momentum builder for you guys, especially with the fixtures that you have coming up and the fixtures that the teams around you will have. So yeah, it's just which Man United team turns up. Is it the one that's going to sit and wait for like Newcastle and then just launch that massive counterattacks? Is it going to be somebody that can try and control the game? And yeah, whether Bruno turns up is really whether your team turns up, because he seems to be everything at the moment.
He's literally the only piece of quality in there that we know if he tries something, it's going to actually pay off. Amorim did mention that Ahmed might come back for the last 5 games of the season. So I don't know if that's like a plus or not, because I don't want to rush the guy back and then like halfway into that first game back, he's like limping off again because he didn't have a proper recovery. So I hope the medical team, whoever Gary O'Driscoll left behind, is actually doing their due diligence on the guy and actually making sure that he's recovered properly before he comes back.
Look, it's again and okay. Mubin thinks it'll win the Europa, and that's fair. If that's what you believe, my friend, then I hope that you achieve it. Okay.
Give me some of that optimism, bro.
Yeah, because you are clearly a diehard, and that's what AF needs. AF is speaking too real now. Leave Gary. Gary's gone now.
I'm feeling the emotions, bro.
Yeah, fair. But again, it speaks to the sort of thing that you're waiting for another youngster to come back.
Yeah.
to sort of start the season.
The fact that like he only started.
Yeah, it's like.
Sorry, what did you say?
Oh my God.
Nah, Ziad mustn't chirp if his Wi-Fi is off, man. Because then, bro. Yeah, it's just basically waiting for Ahmed to come back as a youngster going to influence. Maybe that's what Garnacho needs. His friend to come back. Maybe he'll start performing again.
I think the difference on that one is, I mean, Ahmed's gone on loan for a full season to Rangers. He's gone on loan for a full season to Sunderland, and he's had amazing seasons over there.
Yeah.
So he's been exposed to different brands of football, and
Yeah.
I think you can see that in his end product as well. You can see that in the quality he has compared to somebody like Garnacho, who's just come through the ranks at United and just thrown in the deep end, trying to basically save them every game.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a difference at the end of it all.
Yeah. Nah, that's fair. Okay, let's park it there for now. We're gonna segue into something that I don't know. Maybe people's gonna say I'm senti talking about this, but it's something that's plaguing everybody now, and it's more apparent, and it's getting a bit more conspiratorial, if that's even the word, right? So Pogba specifically, and the sort of poor decisions that seem to be creeping in more and more, right? And it's you're looking at certain instances where it happens in one game and then it doesn't happen in the next. And specifically, I'm going to make reference to the Arsenal penalty that we had conceded, and I'm fine with saying that is a pen, but then you have a situation where in the game against Fulham, we have a bit of contact, which is a bit more than what had happened with Miles Lewis-Skelly and Jack Harrison, and something like that happens. Yeah. Is it ever going to change? Because we see last night, Champions League, there were certain decisions that I feel I'm so conditioned to believe it's a free kick, and it was just he actually wanted to keep that game flowing. So, Ziad, do you think maybe with the introduction of semi-automated offsides coming in, I think not this week, maybe next week, that maybe the standard of officiating improves, or what?
No, not at all. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the spotlight is too bright on the refs, man. They're too scared to do anything. They overanalyze everything because they don't want to get it wrong. But while going through that process, they do get it wrong anyway. The players don't help because they go to ground for everything. I mean, we saw Vinny Jr. was getting tackled by Shadows last night, flopping everywhere as soon as a player comes close to him. But I actually like the way the ref handled it in the Champions League, and we've actually seen it across European competition. The games have flowed much better than the Premier League, where it's very stop-start. Like Arsenal Everton, there was a stat about how long the ball was in play, and it was like for only 40 minutes out of the entire game where the ball was in play, and that tells me like it's just too stop-start. The refs are blowing for literally everything, any sort of contact. Guys are falling over, and it is very hard. And like I've said before, the refereeing situation, the quality is dropping because who wants to be a ref? Who wants to take the abuse? Who wants to have every decision they might cut into a reel? So you sitting there as a 28-year-old or 30-year-old or whatever, thinking, you know what, maybe I'm going to become a ref. But now you got to work your way through the local leagues and stuff where guys are going to wait for you at your car if you make a decision against them. So what type of referees are you going to get at the top? And then the best referees are getting pulled out of the game because they make more money on TV talking about how bad the other refs are. So the guys actually on the field are not the best. And I don't see anything changing, with regards to that pathway, unless they kind of take a step back with the scrutiny that these refs are getting. At the same time, the refs also have to be a bit more confident in making their decisions and just sticking with it. But the constant replays and stuff, it's just I don't see anything changing.
AF, do you think they need to bring in a few more European refs into Pogba? Some of these guys that are managing Champions League games, sorry.
So the thing is, like, every league has their native referees, right? I think that's how it works in every single league. So I don't think the English league will deviate from that at all, because they are all about grassroots and all of those things, like providing futures for their own people. And I don't think that they have to deviate from that. I think it's just about, like, referees need to be held accountable. We've been saying for years that, like, managers and players do post-match interviews and they get questioned about certain decisions and stuff like that. They need to, like, referees need to be held accountable for, like, if there are big decisions, what was your thinking behind it? Did you see this? Did you see that? When you went to the screen, like, what made you not call that in the first place? Like, it's just things like that. Referees need to be held accountable. managers and players shouldn't be held accountable if they call out referees, because I just feel like referees are too protected in the Premier League. And the moment that gets like sorted out and that gets actually something gets done about it, then we will see a better product at the end of it all. We will see more teams being happy with the equality shown, because at the moment I feel like if you play for a certain team, you know that you can get away with certain things. Over the weekend, like you brought up the Fulham thing. Andreas Pereira got completely wiped out. Like the keeper wasn't anywhere close to the ball, got completely wiped out. I think it was Rodrigo Muniz. He got wiped out as well, and the referee just waved play on. And I mean, it's so blatant these days. And as soon as something gets done about it, that's when we're going to be seeing a better product.
You see what it is as well, right? And we spoke about this previously as well, is that it's it's happening across the board, but it seems to be there's a severity for certain teams that are at the brunt of these decisions. And the problem we're having is that the rival fan bases look at a certain fan base and they say, why complaining, get on? And then literally the following week it then happens to them. And then it's their fan base that then gets on. And then the one that was previously or done by saying, okay, but when we asked you to support, then nothing happened. So what happens in these little pockets that keeps all the fan bases isolated, when it needs to be like, okay, everybody come together. We all understand that it's a terrible system. We understand that there's a lot of very poor substandard performances by refs, and that interview thing would be mad actually. Like, imagine you must get Darren England in and you say, look here, what was the decision? What is the decision there? Like, maybe they must do like hockey, right? Hockey have that thing, if you want to go for it, then just go for it. The players almost roll the ref every minute, my bro. Like,
or even in rugby. Like the refs, they don't take any crap. Like, you get a stern talking to over there, and if you don't abide by that, then go sit on the chair on the sideline.
You're a 10-minute sin bin.
Introduce it. Do it.
Brother, that's
the moment they do stuff like that, you're gonna see how players start abiding by the rules, because then essentially you're down a player, you're letting your team down. The fan base is gonna come after you. There's a domino effect going on there.
Nah, for sure. In rugby, players call the ref sir even. Imagine someone like James Tarkowski calling somebody sir. He don't care about that. He's gonna run past that and headbutt you, or but there is a different sort of respect for the officials. It's just because I think they're more consistent in rugby, and I think you see fewer errors, and they've got, I wouldn't say VAR, but they've got review systems in, and I mean, even cricket as well, right? Zips, they've got I'm not sure if we're moving towards a referral system where if you think that you got a completely wrong call.
I think it's really simple. If you're going to do referrals, and give a team 2 per half or whatever, and then they can only challenge that. If they challenge anything else, it's like throw your referral down. If you don't, play the game. And then if you're not playing the game, just delay of game, warnings, cards, free kicks, whatever the thing is, and carry on. The thing is, it's a cultural thing also, man. You're going to try and do a couple 100 years of football culture where it's always been about going after the refs, and the way football players behave is very different to cricket, where in cricket, for example, dissent is something punishable very swiftly, right? It's not, the players also hold that standard. So if you are a cricketer and you show dissent, your teammates probably are going to chase you off the field or give you grief. And the same with rugby. As soon as you try to talk, your captain's either pulling out of the way. That's just the in sport. Football doesn't have that culture. We so many different occasions where we remember people crowding the whole team, 7 players surrounding one referee or whatever the case is. And I don't know how you undo that in the long run. But I think the referrals will be actually quite useful because when you do want to argue, you can throw your referral flag out, whatever the case is. And if you get it wrong, then you also start exposing that side of it where you can see, okay, the ref's getting it, this ref gets it more right than not.
Yeah.
Then you also see, which teams challenge well. You start picking up patterns, right? Where it'll be like maybe it's Arteta who's always seeing things wrong, or maybe a guy like Eddie Howe gets it right all the time. So you start picking up the patterns, and I think that will help improve it, But currently, it's just there's no consistency, and if you don't have consistency, then it does make things very hard for people to accept.
Yeah. Nah, that's fair. That's fair. But I think it's in a place now where it's very subjective. So decisions can be swayed depending on who's in the VAR. And look, our friend Keith Hackett is very vocal online about this. Like, you can't have a reffing one game and then literally the very next day they're in the VAR studio for someone. There's no
and they got Sky Bet open on their phone.
Exactly. Yeah. Wait, what? That was like Croatia or like something like that. It was some
Ukraine, I think.
or something like that. And it's actually mental. But there's a large cohort of the refs are from the north. So to assume that there's no bias there is also 100%. Something else. But like Ziad said, like, nobody wants to be a ref. It's probably the hardest job. You have to manage the expectations of 22 players that's on the field, then the rest of the team, the stadium. So it can be difficult. But man, I think my biggest thing is that nobody wants to take accountability in that time. And Pogba's always coming after, we acknowledge this and that. Like, it is a bit too late.
What difference does acknowledging make? You can't get the points back.
Exactly.
People are losing their spots. People are losing bonuses or whatever the case is, right? The sorry doesn't help.
Yeah. Now, honestly, it's something that I was just wanting to chat, because I think as soon as we see an incident happen, there's always something that of a similar nature that happens on the same weekend and it gets officiated differently. So it's very glaring. And I'm not speaking specifically about Arsenal, because I'm sure if I watch more of the other teams, I'd see the exact same thing, where Newcastle get away with a lot, and then suddenly Everton get blown up for this and stuff like that. So, it's just it kind of sours the product, and it brings into a lot of questions when you see it being done so well and so effectively in other competitions, other leagues, things of that nature. So, that wraps us up. We've covered Newcastle and Man United for this weekend's fixtures. There are a whole other bunch of fixtures. We're not avoiding your team. We just, when you have a Newcastle fan, you talk about Newcastle, because you're going to see them again 70 years time. So I'd like to thank the boys for jumping in. AF, quickly on the spot, what are your thoughts about tomorrow's game? Give me a quick prediction and who's a goal scorer?
So, I don't know. Are we playing tomorrow's one at home? I can't actually remember which one it is. But,
okay, let's check quickly. Yeah, but give me a quick goal scorer. Or is that also going to influence? Is it influenced by whether it's home or away?
I think Nemanja Matic gets a goal tomorrow, and
Leon's at home.
He's gonna do a celebration in Onana's direction. But I think it's going to be 1-1, and then it's going to go down to the second leg.
Okay.
That is my prediction for the whole tie. Just like that.
Okay. Ziad, do you think Lacazette scores tomorrow?
Yeah, I was trying to check if he's going to play. But Leon is in shambles, bro. Leon have like issues with the ownership, and it's just a big mess at Leon. So it's who's their owner again? I think he also owns a few other teams. It's just a problem owner. I wonder if it's connected to Crystal Palace.
I don't know. But I was thinking there was somebody who was there. I think Fabio Roscoe that played for...
It's John Texter. He is involved with Palace. He wanted to buy one of the other Premier League teams also. He's just a shocker. So I don't know. But let's. I actually want United to go far in the Europa, man. Let's keep it going, because otherwise we're gonna have there's a dead duck here. So.
Where's this?
At Lyon.
Oh yeah,
Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Yeah, they're actually signing all of the
Now
Arsenal players.
we
No
actually
way, yeah.
specialize in 3-letter abbreviations for players. So we sent AMN away, and now we got MLS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before that,
So,
we had AOC, not from America, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
oh yeah,
And
That was
then,
good. Well done.
yeah, nah, cheers. Look here, call back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zips,
There's-
look, there's obviously 8 teams left, and it's Bode Glimp, Lazio, Lyon, United, Rangers, Athletic Bilbao, this is basically their sort of competition, and then Spurs, Apurias, and then Eintracht Frankfurt. So, yeah, on paper, I think Man United should push. They should
a
be
deep
able.
run. Yeah, let's go. A deep run for United.
There's a kid that plays for Lyon, and I just want to speak about him for like a minute. And he's probably going to be one of the hottest commodities over the transfer window, and that's Ryan Cherky. This guy is going to be insane in the next like 2 years or so. His ceiling is extremely high. He plays just behind the striker, and I won't be surprised if he ends up at a Liverpool, at the Man City, at Bayern Munich, or any of those places. I mean, City are looking for a De Bruyne replacement right now. He fits that mold quite well. So because the game is like against Man United next week, tomorrow and next week, you could actually see this as a global audition.
Yeah.
Didn't Chelsea sign him already? No.
No. Look, it's probably a good question to have, but no. I've seen him. He's absolutely great, but I have a sneaky suspicion he's going to turn into like a Nabil Fekir. Lots of potential, does exceptionally well. He's going to be plagued by some injury, and it's just and you'll just sort of forget about. I genuinely don't know where Fekir is right now. If he's at Betis, I think that's where I last remembered him. But yeah, there has to be something that stopped teams, because he's 21 now, but he's been on the scene for almost 2 to 3 years. And if you're good and you're young, they will be snapping up already. But he's been at Lyon for quite some time. So yeah, definitely one to watch. Definitely showing signs of future stardom. But let's see how it goes. Maybe all you need is a game against Man United to really put yourself on the scene.
That's
this is
what
like
these players wait for, man.
It's like a script writer's dream, bro. How's that keeper that was saving everything in that one match? I don't know. He was a Man United fan, and he was just turning up, playing for some team in I don't know where.
People channel prime Oliver Kahn when they come up against United sometimes.
100%. But okay, boys, shot for pulling in. That is the end of episode 112. Thank you to all the comments, everybody that jumped in. I will echo that Arsenal fans are serious because it's only half time. Okay, there's still a big second leg. AF, where can the people find you? Are you going to be catching the Champions League tonight? You're only catching Europa? Talk to us.
I'm watching the Champions League tonight. I don't think I have any preference for who I actually want to go through in tonight's legs. But yeah, it's going to be two great games. Hoping for entertaining football. And yeah, I'm just all out on the Asensio bandwagon at Villa. So I just want that guy to do well, and for Real Madrid to see that they've made a mistake in letting him go in the first place.
Was it Real Madrid or was it PSG? Or is he still contracted?
No, I'm talking about in the first place. They just discarded him. Apparently, he didn't even know that he was going to leave when they decided to let him go.
Nah,
I mean, on brand. So
yeah, fair play. Okay, Zips, are you going to be catching anything? Obviously, time delay there, no? Are you going to save all of this?
I tap out. I don't want to watch any football. I'm saving my energy for the Masters.
100%, boy. 100%. You see, this is a guy that supports Arsenal, but he has his head screwed on right. This is why I like
you saw that grouping I sent you. Who wants to watch PSG and Villa tonight? Now I'll pause, bruh. I'll just wait for Scotty to tee it up tomorrow.
Fair play. We are at Sportycast. Please like, share, subscribe. We are so appreciative of all the love, all the support, all the comments on these lives. Let us know if you have anything specific that you want us to cover. We can cover it. It's not just because we had a Newcastle fan. I'll talk about Bournemouth if I have to.
Wait, bro. How's this one?
Yeah, got me there. Who's this Salah?
Wow,
Yeah.
that's wild.
Mohammed Bray, give us something to talk about.
Okay,
not,
man,
not from Timu. Give us something
Bray,
to chat about.
this is Salah from when
I think we
Bray,
lost the
if
ad
you-
again.
If you can understand what he's trying to say, let us know in the comments below. Appreciate comments like that. Make it funny, make it happen. We will.
but I think also with the comments, I think Mubi needs a translator also to join him. Because after he types, we need someone to just interpret, transliteration, to type it in, what people can understand. Because half the stuff that they're always saying is
I
it's
think
a
he's
different
half
dialect
Nigerian.
of.
The guy is chatting in Pidgin or like
Yeah.
Creole or something. Yeah. Men don't want no game tonight. Liverpool, they win. Shout out all the Nigerian subscribers. Love you guys.
Nah, I think he pressed space after each syllable.
Yeah.
Bro.
So, yeah. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. We'll be back. We'll be pushing out some content. So, yeah, appreciate it. And boys, catch you on the next one.
Cheers.